For my learning project, I decided to do the process of buying a house. I had lived with a roommate for almost 3 years, and she had owned the house, but I had paid her rent each month to live there, and I thought it was a good idea for me to get a house on my own. With that being said, I didn't know whether or not I wanted a apartment or to rent a house. But I researched it a little bit, and it looks like buying a house is going to be the better investment. And my sister wanted to actually move in with me. We had always thought it would have been in an apartment or a house, but or apartment or a rental home, but buying a house worked as well. When I looked into buying a house, I looked at some of the benefits, which included the fact that homeownership builds wealth over time. Each time you pay a mortgage payment, it increases the equity in your house. So if you ever wanted to sell in the long run, you would hopefully get all that money back. Another benefit to buying a house is the fact that it involves great tax deductions and capital gains. You can claim the fact that you bought a house on your income taxes. Another benefit is it also has fixed mortgage rates. So with each year, hopefully you stay with the same interest rate as you did before, and it doesn't fluctuate like rent would. A lot of times rent will go up or down each year with the cost of living. And another benefit to owning a house was the fact that you have a stable living environment. It provides like a sense of community. It's good to live in a neighborhood where everyone's looking out for each other. Like with neighborhood crime watches, it also feels nice to belong to like a school district if I were to ever have kids or a family. Some of the disadvantages of owning a home would be the responsibility of actually maintaining it, which is an issue that I've come across recently. With replacing like plumbing and faucets and stuff in my bathroom. That's all stuff that I don't know how to do, that I would either have to hire someone to do or YouTube or have like a friend or family come over and do it for me. It also costs money to maintain everything. So if I have a leaky faucet or anything goes wrong with my house at all, I have to pay to have it fixed. I think I had the furnace fixed twice over the winter. Which were both expenses. And then also another disadvantage of owning a house would be the decreased mobility. If I ever wanted to move, I would have to wait to actually sell the house or find someone to rent it. And even if I list the house, it might not sell on time or sell within the time that I need it to. So I'm pretty much stuck there. For me, the home buying process, I actually started by getting pre-approved. I called both my bank, Omni, and Wells Fargo and got pre-approved. I had a good credit score. I didn't have much credit because I only had a store credit card and my car payment, but what I did have of credit was really good, and I got pre-approved through both places, which made me a more serious home buyer as well. And then the second step I took was to actually start house hunting online on Trulia and Zillow. I just started looking up 2 to 3 bedroom houses with stuff that I wanted in a house. And then I also hired a realtor. The very first house that I looked at, she was actually the listing agent for, and I kind of just kept her the rest of the time because I liked her, and she helped me. She actually sent me new listings each week of stuff that came on the market, and stuff that I would be interested in. The main thing that I wanted in a house was at least 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. I wanted a new furnace and water heater, and then updated windows and plumbing and electrical. Pretty much just all of the basic things that would allow me to move in. I ended up wanting to make it my own. I didn't care about paint colors or cosmetic issues because those are all things that I'm willing to fix and that I can do on my own. I didn't want to have to buy a new furnace or water heater after a year. The next step that I took after the search process was to actually make an offer. I looked at almost 10 houses before I found one that I actually wanted to make an offer on. My goal was to keep it in my price range and to play hardball. Being a first-time home buyer, I was willing to step away from. I was willing to step away if they didn't want to give me what I wanted. So I made an offer. They came back with a different offer. This went on for actually almost a month. They came back with another offer that I didn't like, and I told them that I wanted them to pay closing costs. And in the meantime, while we were negotiating, I actually had an inspection ordered, and they found that the house had high radon and a faulty electrical wire. So then I added another addendum to my original offer, and I wanted them to have the high radon and faulty electrical wire fixed by installing a mitigation system and hiring a contractor. After about a month to 6 weeks, after I said that I was walking away and pulling my offer back, they finally accepted it, and they actually issued just a cashier's check for me to have both of those issues fixed, and they agreed to my price and to pay closing costs, so it actually worked out in my favor. One of the most confusing things for me for home ownership and buying a house was actually taking out a loan. I had not the slightest clue on what to do. I actually called Wells Fargo, and they walked me through everything, which isn't who I ended up getting my loan through, but they helped me decide what I would qualify for. A conventional loan, you have to have, I believe it's like a 20% down payment, and there's a certain interest rate for that. There was a rural development home that I didn't qualify for at all since I was buying a house in the city. I ended up going with a FHA loan, which only required a 5% down payment, and I think it was a 3.4% interest rate is what I ended up with, which is really great, and it was a fixed interest rate as well. And then my realtor showed me MISHDA, which is the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, that I qualified for, which paid my 5% down payment, as well as the leftover closing costs. And the only thing with that is if I ever had to refinance or if I sold my house, I would have to pay that money back. But hopefully with equity that I have in the house and the payments that I've already made, it would well pay for itself. The last thing that I had to do after finally figuring out the loan that I wanted was to close on the house. I chose to escrow my taxes and insurance in, which at the beginning of the home buying process, I had no idea what that meant at all. And then pretty much signed my life away. I was in the closing office for almost an hour signing paperwork, and yeah. My final payments for everything, my mortgage ended up being $491, which was well under what I wanted to spend. My utilities are about $150 a month, depending on how much I'm running heat or the air conditioner. And then cable and internet was $90. And the final step for my home buying process was to adopt 2 kittens because I've always wanted kittens, and now that I lived on my own, I could have them. So that's it.